Hello, and welcome to On the Go with BCSO. I'm Corporal Dave Jacobs. It's a privilege to be here and bring you information about your sheriff's office and your community. We have a lot to tell you, so let's get started. Today we are highlighting the Special Victims Unit. If you've seen the television show bearing the same name, this is probably what you're imagining. Well, you'd be wrong. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office Special Victims Unit consists of 10 agents, which are supervised by Sergeant Vitaliano. They investigate cases involving child abuse, sexual battery, child abductions, elderly abuse, domestic violence, injunction violations, human trafficking, and child exploitation. The unit works very closely with teams from the State Attorney's Office, Department of Children and Families, Children's Advocacy Center, and women's shelters, just to name a few. In 2013, approximately 1,392 victims of domestic violence applied for an injunction for protection in Brevard County alone. In 2013, there were 8 murders related to domestic violence in Brevard County. The victims, all women, ranged in age from 35 to 76 years old. Although each individual agent has their own area of expertise, every agent within the unit can perform highly at any of the functions required to investigate these types of crimes. With us, we have a couple special guests today. We have Agent Jesse Holton and his partner Primus. Jesse, you have a special function within the Special Victims Unit, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about that.
I am a part of a new program called the Courthouse Project, which is a co-program that involves the University of Central Florida, and it's the first time that a therapy dog has ever been used in investigations. And the purpose of this program is to try and increase disclosure rates by allowing children the opportunity to have a friendly and safe environment so that when they sit down with us, they'll be able to disclose some of the things that have happened to them.
So Primus is your partner every day?
Every day. He is no different than any normal canine that you would see on patrol or with bloodhounds doing search and rescue. He is my partner, comes to work with me, goes home with me, and deploys in the field as we do investigations.
So when you're doing an investigation with the Special Victims Unit, mostly with children, you would bring Primus in to help you out?
Absolutely. He's unique in his situation because he is available to us from the crime scene all the way through the courtroom process. And what makes that unique is a lot of times we often forget how children think. And because children are very fragile and their minds kind of wander in a way that we wouldn't remember as adults, they get scared and frightened. And just the presence of a police officer in itself can get a kid in a situation where they're too nervous to talk. Kind of like if you have to give a speech or sit in front of a crowd, adults get nervous and you forget the things you're going to say. The same thing happens with children. And if the more scared they are, the less likely we're going to get a disclosure from them. Using Primus allows us to create such a friendly and safe environment that by the time our forensic interviewers down at the Children's Advocacy Center sit down with that child, they're no longer scared. And it increases the ability to get the detailed information we need from that child to go through with a case.
So Primus isn't chasing down bad guys. He's helping us out in a much bigger way.
Absolutely. And what's neat about his program is he can follow a child through the justice system. So if we get a case where we have to go out to the field and we can respond to the actual scene, we can be with that child as they go to the forensic interview. We can be with that child present with them later on down the road when they're giving interviews with the attorneys in the state's attorney's office. And we can follow that child as they go into trial if it gets to that point where we can actually sit with them in the stand while they give their story.
Wow. Give me an example of some of the successes you've had using Primus with your job.
When I first started in Special Victims, we didn't realize the aspects of child interviewing and how difficult it is. And on a national average, only about 20 to 40% of children who we already have been victimized will actually tell us what happened to them. So it is a job where your victim is most likely not going to tell you what's going on. So what we did is we looked at can we as investigators or we as law enforcement work with our teams, which is Department of Children and Families and the Children's Advocacy Center, to increase that disclosure rate. And what we realized is it's the police presence that kind of creates that anxious moment. They see their parents upset. The kids get nervous when they see a police officer. What Primus does is he takes it away from that. And they forget that we're police. And they just see this cute dog that they can come sit with and relax and read and tell stories to and ask questions about. And it creates that communication.
Now, is this a research-based project?
It is a research-based project. It is what is called empirically backed. it's very rare in most therapy dog programs to have a way to track scientifically and statistically to see if the dog is a benefit. What we did was we got with UCF, the Department of Sociology over there, and they found a way that if we can track cases where we already knew what happened to the victim, and then they're interviewed, it gives us a benchmark. And we can determine whether or not the use of the therapy dog increases communication.
So Jesse, what made you want to start a program like this?
When I got out of the military, I went through the Department of Veteran Affairs programs for post-traumatic stress disorder, and some of the things I saw I wasn't too happy with. A lot of veterans weren't showing up to therapy. They weren't getting the help they needed, including some of the guys I'd served with. As we all started to go to programs outside the VA, one of the most successful ones we saw was the use of a therapy dog. So as I continued starting programs using the therapy dogs outside, I noticed that the minute we had a therapy dog present, veterans were more likely to talk about what they had been through. When I started simultaneously working child abuse cases, I noticed that these children were acting the same way as our veterans. So that to me became a priority, and I wanted to see if I could effectively help some of these kids as much as I was helping some of the veterans that were out there in the field.
Is this program being conducted anywhere else in the United States?
We started the very first program. It's been in function for a little over a year. He's been used on 80 plus cases. And as of this summer, we have Clearwater Police Department over in Tampa has teamed up with the University of South Florida. They are replicating the program over there. And we currently have 4 other counties within this state that will allow for the program to start with them as well.
Jesse, we appreciate you and Primus coming to be with us today, and we sure are proud of the program you're doing, and we look forward to much more success.
All right, thank you very much.
When an incident is reported, these investigators treat each case as if it were their own, no matter who the lead investigator may be. Working side by side, it is easy to see that the focus of these men and women is not just putting in a 40-hour work week, but ensuring no victim falls through the cracks of the justice system. These investigators work countless hours going above and beyond on a weekly basis, investigating some of the most horrific and traumatizing incidents that occur in our society. It is not uncommon to see them wearing the same clothes they had on the day before because they refuse to quit until a suspect is in custody. In a system of justice that often re-victimizes the innocent, it is obvious that the Brevard County Sheriff's Office Special Victim Unit investigators put victims first. Their efforts often go without public recognition due to the confidentiality that comes with investigating these types of cases. This is a concern that is completely absent among these individuals. They are driven by the need to seek justice for our innocent and keep the worst of the worst out of our community. Here is some important contact information if you or someone you know is the victim of domestic violence or sexual assault. Brevard County Sheriff's Office Special Victims Unit can be reached at 321-633-8419. Our 24-hour dispatch can be reached at 321-633-7162. The Florida Domestic Violence Hotline can be reached at 1-800-500-1119. And the Rape Crisis Hotline can be reached at 1-888-956-7273. Or you can visit our website at www.brevardsheriff.com. Now, just down the hall from the Special Victims Unit is SORT, the Sexual Offender Registration and Tracking Unit. SORT is responsible for the registration of all sexual predators and offenders in Brevard County. The unit also provides community notification and address verification of offenders and predators, and investigates violations of the registration and statutory requirements. Back in April of this year, SORT received information about a sexual predator that had removed his GPS monitor and absconded from Hillsborough County. Sexual predator Mark Mazzo, who was previously convicted of 2 counts of sexual battery and lewd or lascivious act upon a child under the age of 16, traveled to this area where a witness from his original case was residing. In a joint effort between the Brevard County Sheriff's Office SORT Unit, Game Over Task Force, the United States Marshals, and the local probation office, surveillance was conducted and BCSO agents began relentlessly tracking Mazzo throughout Central Florida. Within 48 hours, the sexual predator Mark Mazzo was arrested and charged with tampering, damaging or destroying an electronic monitoring device, and violation of probation. In August, this subject was convicted and sentenced to 5 years within the Department of Corrections. What a great effort by all involved. Did you know that you can sign up to receive community alerts? This system allows you to register your information, and you will receive email alerts directly from law enforcement regarding important news and registered offenders information. Take advantage of this easy process to stay informed. Visit www.brevardsheriff.com and follow the online instruction to register. Well, the kids are back in school, and the Sheriff's Office School Resource Officers, SROs, are back making sure there is a safe learning environment for our kids. We have 6 full-time school resource officers assigned to 2 high schools, a junior-senior high, 2 middle schools, and 1 elementary school in the unincorporated areas of Brevard County. SROs have 3 main roles and responsibilities, the first being a law enforcement officer on campus. The other 2 are that of law-related counselors and educators who develop positive relationships with students, parents, teachers, and staff. I recently caught up with 26-year law enforcement officer veteran Deputy Mike Williams at Merritt Island High School to discuss a new program he and Deputy Rivera started. Now, Mike, I understand that you've helped work with some parents and Deputy Rivera from Edgewood Junior Senior High School to develop a program. Tell me about this program.
The program is called HERO, Helping, Encouraging, and Respecting Others. It's an anti-bullying group. It's a group where we get together and we go out and we talk to kids. We have programs here at the schools. Like I said, we take the kids out to talk to the elementary kids about bullying. We primarily try to talk to the 6th grade because we found that jump between 6th grade and middle school is where a lot of things change and where the bullying really takes off. The kids kind of relate more to the teenage kids coming to them, talking to them about the experiences that they've had in middle school and in elementary school and what they're going through in high school. So the kids kind of get a real kick out of hearing it from someone that, knowing that these high school kids were just here, and opposed to hearing from an adult, who's, they think we're all ancient anyway. So they get a real kick out of it, and they're more attentive to the high school kids when they come and talk to them.
So what is some of the feedback that you're getting from either the students here at the high school, but also some of the students or the parents from the elementary schools?
All positive. I haven't heard anything negative about our program to any of the schools that we've gone to. The administration at the elementary schools love it. The kids love it. The kids here and at Edgewood, they love going back talking to the kids.
What are some of the types of kids that you look for here at the high school to be a part of your HERO program?
I don't really look for anybody. And we put it out there, and it's whoever wants to join, they're free to join. If you would like more information about this program, please contact our Community Services Unit at 321-264-7755 or by email at communityservices@bcso.us. During the months of July through August, the Brevard County Sheriff's Office East Precinct directed an effort to help address the ongoing felony retail theft complaints that were being generated from the Merritt Square Mall and surrounding businesses on the State Road 520 corridor of Merritt Island. Corporal Brad Servi was tasked with supervising this operation, where he and a team of deputies utilized undercover surveillance techniques and proactive law enforcement methods with the assistance of loss prevention officers from several of the retail stores. Deputies Don Erie, Tony Genova, and Sean Huffnagel played key roles to assure the success of this operation. The operation culminated with the following activity: 53 field interviews, 30 trespass warnings, and 35 arrests to include 28 misdemeanor charges and 25 felony charges. There was $6,553 in recovered merchandise and 10 identifications made of organized retail crime members. Some of these organized crime theft suspects were caught and identified through the keen eye of Corporal Servi when he observed 2 females matching the description of the suspects from the week prior as they worked together filling up a special theft bag called a booster bag, full of merchandise. Corporal Servi was able to coordinate deputies as his investigation developed, and once taken into custody, $1,770 in stolen merchandise was recovered. During the interview of the suspects, it was also discovered the 2 are part of the same organized retail theft ring, and information was obtained about a location in West Palm Beach which is operating as the fence for the stolen merchandise.
The information of this multi-jurisdictional theft ring was given to the East Precinct General Crimes Unit for further investigation, who plan to conduct follow-up investigations coordinated with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Corporal Servi and his team were also able to uncover another theft ring where the perpetrators were using fictitious and fraudulently obtained credit card information to make purchases. Loss prevention officers stated this ring has been conducting the activity for the past 3 years from Miami up the I-95 corridor, even over into Sanford. This was the first case where any suspects have been identified or apprehended. If you have any additional information, you are encouraged to call the Sheriff's Office at 321-633-7162 or Crime Line at 1-800-423-TIPS. We are really proud of Corporal Servi and his team of deputies at East Precinct, where their efforts assured the success of making your community safer. With Halloween just around the corner, we thought we would tell you a little ghost story. The Brevard ghost hunters have been telling stories about their favorite haunts for years. If you've spent any time in the Cocoa Village Playhouse, you know about the old handyman who roams the building, mysteriously opening doors. If you've ever eaten at Ashley's in Rockledge, you might have heard the story of Ethel, who's been hanging around the building since the 1930s. You might even be afraid to look into the ladies' room mirror. And Miss Lovey Pritchard is still said to be hanging around the Pritchard house, which was built in Titusville in 1891. She didn't like visitors in the house even when she was alive. But did you know we might have ghosts right here in Vassar B. Carlton Historic Titusville Courthouse? Also known as the Old Brevard County Courthouse, it was originally built in 1912 at a cost of $32,000. The value of that money in 2014 is estimated at $780,000. The two-story structure was built on land donated by the City of Titusville founder Colonel Henry Titus. In 1926, a three-story wing was added to the west side. The third floor contained jail cells, warden's quarters, a kitchen, and a hospital ward. The sheriff, other county offices, and a vault room were located on the second floor. The courthouse continues to serve Brevard County, but the jail facilities on the third floor no longer are used. Strange sounds and odd occurrences continue to intrigue those in the courthouse. Ghost investigators have even volunteered to look into the potential disturbances, but the questions still remain unanswered.
A couple years ago, we had a local ghost hunter group. They came in. We spent probably 6-7 hours up in the third floor and the second floor as well. They placed monitors, video surveillance systems, stuff like that for detecting ghosts. And we have a recording that they recorded where they picked up some audio sounds from there. There was some strange noises that occurred when we were in the old part of the jail, in the old cells there, and banging. We're all standing out of one room, banging inside the cell. We discovered some nice artwork up on the walls when we illuminated the walls. And we did. They said they detected the name of a spirit by the name of Benjamin. He had been incarcerated. He was incarcerated allegedly for a rape. We have up in courtroom 4, Judge Griefmont's courtroom, over by where the deputy station is. At times you'll hear a phone, an old style phone ringing. It just continuously rings, and there's no set time when it does it. Just out of the blue, it'll just start ringing.
Perhaps there is credence to the reports concerning the Brevard County Courthouse disturbances after all. Well, that's it for today, Brevard County. Hope you found this informative and enjoyable. See you next time as we are on the go with BCSO.